Hey everyone, welcome back to Capital Conservatives, your go-to source for the most explosive moments from the halls of power. Today, we're breaking down Senator Kennedy's fiery exchange with attorneys Gaiser and Woodward in a recent judiciary hearing. This was a masterclass in holding the legal establishment accountable, and you won't want to miss it. Stick around because we're diving into 4 key segments that expose the heart of this confrontation. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay updated on all the unfiltered truth from Washington. Right out the gate, Kennedy goes straight for the jugular. Would you ever advise a client to ignore a federal court's opinion? Simple question, right? But watch how Gaiser dances around it before finally admitting, yes, courts must be obeyed. This is classic Kennedy. No fluff, no loopholes. He's exposing whether these attorneys truly respect the rule of law or just the politics of the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I also don't want to debate how many lawyers can dance on the head of pen. I think you understand where a lot of these questions are coming from. Mr. Gaiser, would you ever advise a client to ignore federal district court opinion?
Thank you very much, Senator Kennedy. I would advise it.
Thank me. You can thank me by answering.
I would advise a client on how best to apply all law court orders.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, sir.
You would advise a client not to follow a federal district court?
I would advise a client to follow court orders.
Would you ever advise a client not to follow a decision?
I had the privilege of clerking on 2 federal courts of appeals.
Is that a yes or no?
Yes. I would advise them to follow the orders of.
How about Supreme Court?
Yes, Senator, I would advise them to follow the Supreme Court's orders, as President Trump has been very clear that those orders are to be followed.
Next, Kennedy shifts to the Administrative Procedures Act, the backbone of how agencies make rules. He corners Woodward. You have to give notice, take input, hold hearings, right? Kennedy isn't having it. He demands clarity on the good cause exception, a loophole agencies abuse to skip public scrutiny. The tension, palpable.
Mr. Woodward, let me ask you the same question. Would you ever advise a client not to follow a district court opinion?
No, Senator.
Would you ever advise a client not to abide by an opinion of the federal court of?
No, Senator. Again, it's difficult to answer in the hypothetical, but.
Would you ever advise a client to follow an opinion by the United States?
No, Senator. As the president has been clear, he will follow all orders of the United States Supreme Court.
All right, folks, here's where it gets really spicy. Kennedy ties the Administrative Procedure Act to the Supreme Court's Loper Bright decision, which acts the Chevron Doctrine. That means agencies can't just interpret laws however they want. Kennedy's point? If a rule violates the Supreme Court, the Department of Justice shouldn't hide behind bureaucracy. They should kill it immediately. Mic drop.
Tell me what I would need to do under the APA, the Administrative Procedures Act, if I want to change a current.
Well, Senator, as a senator, you would pass a law that would change the.
No. I don't want to play games here, counsel. What would one have to do? What would the head of an agency have to do to overturn a current rule or regulation?
Well, Senator, I apologize. I know that there are many ways to do that, and I don't want to play games either. I want to answer the question.
That's fair.
There are many ways in which an agency can overturn a rule.
Well, you have to give notice, right?
As a general matter, yes, Senator.
Yeah. And you have to invite input, right?
As a general matter, yes, Senator.
And sometimes you have to hold a hearing, right?
Sometimes you do, Senator.
Are there any exceptions to that under the Administrative Procedures Act?
Under the Administrative Procedures Act, I'm not aware of any exceptions, but there are exceptions under the law.
So, why does this matter? Well, because unelected bureaucrats routinely ignore courts and ram through radical rules. Kennedy's exposing the playbook, and every American should be furious. Even his humor's a weapon. Subscribe now and hit the bell because this fight isn't over. The left hates when conservatives hold them accountable, and we'll keep bringing you these clips first.
Are you familiar with the good cause exception to the Administrative Procedures Act?
Senator, I am vaguely familiar with that exception.
Okay, do you know what it says?
No, Senator, I do not.
I understand. Here's what I'm driving at. Are you familiar with the Supreme Court's case called Loper Bright?
Senator, I am vaguely familiar with the Supreme Court's decision in Loper Bright.
The overturned Chevron Doctrine, right?
The Chevron deference doctrine, yes, Senator.
Okay. If there is a rule promulgated by prior administration or even by a current administration that is in clear violation of the United States Supreme Court's pronouncement under Loper Bright, ruling unconstitutional the Chevron Doctrine, would it be possible, strike that, would it be prudent for the Justice Department to exercise authority under the good cause exception to the APA in the public interest and forego the rule the notice and comment.
So, Senator, thank you. I think I now understand your question. And that is I was alluding to the non-APA process. I mean, if a rule has been promulgated that is plainly unconstitutional, it absolutely would be appropriate for the Department of Justice to look at that rule and make a determination.
But my point is, you don't have to ignore the APA to do that, do you?
I would say it depends, but I take your point.
I mean, the APA provides an exception.
Yes, Senator.
It's section 553 right there, big as Dallas. Am I done? Yeah. I thought that was maybe a mouse or something.
Drop a comment below. Should the Department of Justice be able to ignore courts? Let's get trending. And remember, liberty lives here at Capitol Conservatives. Until next time, stay vigilant.